gotta miss her. Get off in your head like a neurologist. Push more weight than Atlas. Gotta find him by the name of Tupacalypse. The 707, my roots go hella far back to Floor Terrace. I pull a 40 out of my bar, and then I flush it down my esophagus. The group that I'm with, the Blick, Sugar D shot legit. Family orientated, gang related, it's the killing these silly suckers off cruise show. Sitting them down mutual. Running through these lyrics as if I was vibrant, like Metamine. So, timer. Holy water. Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me, man. Big timer. Big time. Holy water. Sprinkle me, lace up for me.
Here comes the top notch. Ooh, here I be. Cut down the sugar tea from the beat. I'm quick to smile. Always down for the job. You gotta strut, that's a gang of shots. Ooh, while I'm fool. Say your own mail as I smile through your hood. Straight shaking all. You busters and busterettes trying to claim fame off my job rep.
Sharp reputation.
Why must I be so tight? Most folks tell me, sugar, you ain't right. It makes me wanna scream while I make you holler. Pulling a gang of crowd like that almighty dollar.
Sugar.
Yeah, that's me.
That's my sister.
You know my name.
Sprinkle me, girl. Sugar.
That's what they call me.
That's my sister.
You know I ain't right.
Sprinkle me, girl.
Check the flotation.
PHing on the player making makeup. Trying to knock the hustle just because we wait to make
And
it.
ain't trying to test your you know that ain't cool.
Sugar don't make me have to come about the sound booth and act a fool.
These old cupcakes busters.
Young world is yours. It may cause concern. It's why don't you listen and learn? That once was strong, but even that's turned wrong. Hey, it's cool to look bummy and be a dumb dummy and disrespect your mommy. Who put you on this earth? Have who loved you since your birth? Reward is a brainwashed kid going wild. Young little girls already have a child. Bad company. Hey, now you've been framed. Your parents are hurted and ashamed. Ruining yourself. And your mommy can't cope. Hey, little kids don't follow these jokes. As a rule, your life don't drool. Don't be a fool like those that don't go to school. Get ahead and accomplish things. You'll see the wonder and the joy life brings. Don't admire these. Hey, they don't admire you. Their time's limited, hard rocks too. So listen, be strong, scream, whoopee doo. Go for yours, cause dreams come true. And you'll make it. I'm so proud of you too. And this is the message that the ruler Rick drew. And it's true.
You know what? We like to party. You know what? We like to party. You know what? We like to party.
Hey, don't you look fly? Don't have a oh my, you've been fighting again and you forgot why. Hey kid, walk straight, master your high. Because you make your family cry. And all jokes aside, are you in good health? Now have you really checked yourself? You're a disgust, you know someone that I can trust you. And you're running by some dust and
Start attacking, someone's acting out of order. Put on your leather gloves and hats and get your bits and bats. And get the gas just in case we take it to the stars. To the deep. The Lexus, the Beamers, and the Benz. To all of my ladies and my men. And all of my people in the pen. My man, keep your head up into the hood. East Coast, West Coast, the worldwide. Ain't nothing wrong with Buffalo Live. And if you with me, let me hear you say right. Nowadays. Must be frontin' like they ill.
Chuck Rock coming back hard for 1990. Word out. Kick this out to my man Rob Swinger, Hot Dog, Dinky, Manager Butt, M Lover, you know what I'm saying? Dr. No. Here we go. That's the hitman, yes, the hitman, yeah, you know it. The first quencher, the man on the sequence, and he was there to kick a 16 bar. He's not a rap star, not saying that I am, but on the jam, I'm gonna kick a little, not a Dr. Seuss riddle, no hats and hats, box and some socks. Right to the DJ jocks, check your clocks. Rap past what? Time to bust up. Not a pistachio, he uses a Casio keyboard and a Pascal board. The cook in the B50. Get nifty, run with the gift. Time to get fit. Not with the manufacturing of a spliff. He never wrote one, never sold none. The beats give me the high that brought fame to us. And how we gonna get it, Bob? Yes,
You know what? I got my rallies all got a new corporation around the block. We not one thing, not one of them, not one. We get fresh fruits, alright. Because once we're together, we can't be stopped. And the challenge to rock is what we got. And people want us to break up, but we cannot. People want us to break up, but we cannot. To the jiggy jiggy top. What up? What up? We on this shit. All the way to heaven. 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 Now, this will be the first time in history a rap song is dedicated to G.O.D. And it's how it fares to make you dance. And if you're doing what I'm doing, because the world's a play. I shoot, God bless you. God bless you too. Now tell me who wanna rock with the Get Back crew. Cool. When I ask this question, people put them on as if we had applications for some of you jobs.
Excuse me, though, you must have want to see me, Bob.
Bob?
Yes,
You
Bob.
call that all white songs? So later, have a lunch, I mean, and going on the car. Now wait, hold up, stop. One mistake, I'm in the beatbox break.
That's a pop foot. That's a pocket for you. Huh? Hold it down, hold it. Now hold it, hold it.
tell me what's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Spencer. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, bud. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Spencer. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Kid. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Fairfax. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, bud. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Marty. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, brother. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, MC. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, bud. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my man. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Grace. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Bill Lowe. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, London Hill. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Billy Queen. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, South Beach. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, London Hill. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, South West. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show, Six Sport. What's up, what's up. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, cuz. From the wickedest man alive. Yeah, wickedest man alive. Hey, see what? Fans try to fake and I'm shaking fake, but I calculate. So don't make mistakes. I'll wait patiently and have the head of already. Yeah, them the brothers that don't die. You know what I do? Push me forever, boy. Push me too clever. Yeah, expect me that burn from Oklahoma. 808, be leaving Bama's on the coma. I told you, boogies some beats back on the board. Yeah, motherfucker, right there. Now I don't really know. Yeah, we all without a beat the other day. Smoke down rain, so ain't nothing left to say. Hey, welcome to the show, Northeast. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Lincoln Heights. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Keisha. What's up, what's up? Well, welcome to the show, girl. Welcome to the show. Well, welcome to the show, Ebony. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Savannah Ted. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the Spark Block. What's up, what's up? Well, welcome to the show, Scrap. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, man. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, what's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Drink. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Drink. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Big Jeff. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Big Key. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Brand House. What's up, what's up? Welcome to the show, Donnell. Welcome to the show. Well, it's the season for kicking butteries. At the show 32, I'm coming clean like shampoo. Play me like a Prego, cause I'm in there getting your hype. But you know lights like Tuesday night fight. Come on, baby, baby, well, let me see you freak that body, baby. So watch me get it, watch me get up. Sorry, trapped up. I catch you slipping, scrap, then you stuck. Bounce, but they fucking know what I mean. Yeah, pop the honeys, I'm the winged thinking. Back up, I'ma be here for a while. Getting up in your business, I'm causing dizziness. Slip, sneezing. Coffee head, people say you can rest up. Putting smoke up through your chest, like Southwest. I got the same scars and cuts, so while you biting on my Snickers, don't forget my nookin'.
We got this together later.
What y'all do? Need to figure that. Which one? This one over here. It's the number 4. Where you put the number? I can't read. 2.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to this week's edition of the Real Shop Talk, presented by Just Right Barbers Lounge here at 9812 Clinton, Maryland. 9812 Piscataway Road, Clinton, Maryland. Welcome to January 2021, a new year. Ain't much new going on this year, but before we get into our topic, we'll be remiss not to mention the events that took place this week up on Capitol Hill, here in our nation's capital. For me, I'm gonna say, don't let the media confuse you. Don't let what took place on Capitol Hill overshadow what's really taking place, what's really going on in America. I'm not gonna get too deep into it, get too political, but be awake, be aware, pay attention, right? Funnel through all the mess that's going on. Don't be remiss. What took place in Atlanta, in Georgia, state of Georgia this week. We got our first, Georgia got their first black senator ever. Shout out to Stacey Abrams and the mayor of Atlanta for pushing all those millions of people not only to get registered to vote, but to go out and vote. Don't really get into the Democratic or Republican parties because, it's all a facade, smoke and mirrors, but it means something when you really understand how the government works for one party to have total power. To understand what's really going on, and people really getting out here to vote for the positions that really matter. Because the president really don't have much power without the House or the Senate. Understand that. So anybody else in the room want to give a little spiel on what took place this week, feel free to. But I'm gonna just say, don't let your daughters and your sons be fooled by what's really going on.
For me, just looking at it, I'm probably going to be one of the biggest conspiracy theorists ever. I definitely think that it was a riot was incited. I do believe that there were people that were planted in there to execute the Capitol breach. It's just funny that when we had the Black Lives Matter situation down on 16th Street, Black Lives Matter Plaza, how many black people was harassed, pushed around by quote unquote National Guard and police. But these people just seem to kind of do what they want. They even had videos where, these intruders, terrorists, we gonna call them, were asking police, are you okay? We not trying to hurt you. And police looking at them like, that they work for them, or the police work for the people work for the police or something like that. It was crazy. It would have been so many body bags out there if it was us. It would have been a lot of body bags. They say 5, but it definitely would have been a lot more. And it's tough to see where we are in our history of the United States.
For me, I'm just appalled that, I was here to be able to see both Black Lives Matter, how they marched, and to see what occurred on Wednesday. It was more, it was white privilege that is just being showcased at its best. And, I just say that to say, Black Lives Matter way. The National Guard and everybody in all sorts of security and police personnel they were put in place prior to the event happening. And I feel like, you know, our defense, security, whatever, I think they failed us as people by allowing that to happen. Yeah, it's still a government building. We might not agree. We had some, you know, difference in, you know, political parties, but, you know, to let happen what happened just showed the sign of throughout our country. And we let things like this happen where they breach buildings that's supposed to be of importance in our area.
I agree with Day. I feel like nothing allowed that to happen if they didn't want that to happen. Period. So I feel like it's conspiracy. It was all set up to, especially, you know, with Trump exiting office. Of course, that's just icing and sprinkles on the cake. Just keep the country in a whole uproar and because of Trump. But that's my opinion. As far as when people say, "Oh, if it was black people, they would have been National Guard and all of that." Why do y'all think that? Because of your threat. Just the idea of a black man doing some shit like that is a threat. So of course they would do shit like that. It's a subconscious threat already. But black men aren't doing things like that. So when I saw it, I looked at it as that's what the fuck they get. That was so much courage and going hard. If it was a conspiracy, it's like you had the audacity to go to the Capitol and just sit in the chair. That was some gangster ass shit right there. But niggas not doing that. Excuse me, black men are not doing it. Not saying that they should. I'm not saying that black people should do that, but it's just we're not doing it. Cause why? Because we're scared to stand up for ourselves. We're scared to fight to the death for ourselves. So that's why we're not running up on the Capitol. So for real, I really didn't give a fuck about the Capitol.
Is it that we scared or we understand that we don't have the privilege? So let's be clear.
Hold up.
It had to be known that I can do this and I'm not gonna get the same ramifications.
Agreed. But all right, so excuse me, because I got 2 young black sons, and I'm not trying to say black men are scared. I'm just saying the program mind, like we won't fight for ourselves that hard. Like we'll march.
I disagree because black people been fighting for hundreds of years, but understand the playing field ain't never been equal and will never be equal.
Because
we have started the race and will always start the race 4 laps behind. And there's no way that you can tell me that we ain't been fighting because as a people, and this is what the distraction is, as a people, we have come very far. No disrespect to Barack being president. It's so much more than just Barack being president, but we again get blinded by what mass media put in front of us. Understand who controls what's put out on the airwaves.
But understand get our information though too and debate each other about that. You know, like you got a handful of people that's actually not going off hearsay, which is on the news or this one news channel, and actually going through to do the footwork and investigate and find information and ask why. So the thinking I'm speaking on is the program thinking, the thinking that we don't consciously think. Like we're not consciously asking why. We're just going along what we see on the news. Asking why. I mean.
But see, Bob, let me say this real quick, because one thing that I noticed when black people have stood up and done something and it was effective was the bus boycott. What that told me is when you start affecting their economics,
absolutely,
then some things are happening. They could care less about us destroying buildings, knocking over cars, even storming the Capitol.
Agree.
But we not affecting the bottom line. That stuff can be fixed.
And please, y'all understand that I'm just the type of person that's going to just ask the opposite. I'm not against us, or I don't disregard. I'll fight this far, the struggle. But I feel like, yes, we should be happy for all the great things and accomplishments that we done achieved. Like that shows our power and our strength as black people. Like we're the strongest Black people. Look what we have been through. We are the children that have been through what's the word for it? Slavery. Ain't no race in the world been through what Black African Americans have been through. But also that came along with that, came along the program, came along the whip and the fear that makes us conform. Now, I don't want us to go to the Capitol and do shit. Yes, let's control the economics, but we don't even want to try to be disciplined enough to support one another because we're so selfish. So it's a root. Like it always comes back to the root. You got Black people now that'll be like, slavery was long ago. We need to let that go. No, the fuck we don't. Not only did it.
So I'm gonna have to agree too. I'm gonna have to agree. Not so much let it go, but you can't keep letting that be the anchor that holds you back. But understand your history, yes. Yeah, know your history. Know where you come from. But it can't keep being an excuse of why you can't move forward.
But it's not an excuse. It's not. I'm not saying that's an excuse. We just always trying to fit into a race of people that
interpret that. It's interpretation. Either way, do people interpret that they use it as an excuse? See, my take on it is totally different. I actually applaud it. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Because what it is y'all look at it as racism. I look at it classism. It's classism. It's poor white people feeling the effects of what African Americans and what minorities have felt throughout the centuries.
Thank you.
And out here, it's classism. They finally see everybody goes and attacks the president. The president don't make the law.
He doesn't.
The Senate and the Congress and the House of Representatives makes the law. So what those white people did is they went after the people that were making the law that felt that adversely affected them. The one thing we always do is we go attack the president. We're going to attack the dude that's supposed to enforce the law.
He has the least amount of power.
Yeah, the least amount of power. We're going to attack that. The least amount of power. Because the reason why...
I'm going to ask you a question. Can the president make a law on his own?
The president doesn't make laws. The president doggone enforce the law. Exactly.
Can he make a law on his own?
In America, let's just do a third grade civics course.
Let's do it.
You got three branches of government. You
Absolutely.
got the judicial, you got the legislative,
and
you got the
executive.
executive. The executive is the president. He enforces the laws. The judicial, which is the Congress, they make the laws.
No, legislative make the law.
That's part of the legislature.
Judicial is the court system.
All three of the separate branches of government. It's not a time to sit there and say what black people are doing. It's a time to just realize what these motherfuckers just did. They just did something that never been done before. A Confederate flag went to the capital of the United States. During the whole Civil War, a Confederate flag never went to the United States capital.
Absolutely.
I am a Marine. I swore an oath to protect, serve, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So for me to sit there and see people forcefully go into that Capitol, that was an affront to anybody that's in here that ever said, I'm an American. Because that's your shit.
It was a mockery.
And it's not time, it's like you raping my sister, and then me sitting there saying, well, what did I do wrong? It ain't time for black people to sit there and say what we did wrong. We wasn't motherfuckers that went up in there.
Don't disagree.
They did that. They did that because they were upset. And like Ronnie just said, they felt like niggas. Yup. They finally felt like niggas. Whenever they feel upfront, this is what white people do. This is how the Klan started. This is how everything started. Whenever they feel upfront, that's why they don't let nobody that's lighter than a paper bag have a weapon of mass destruction, have more guns than them, or anything. Why? Because whenever they feel like they're threatened, they're going to rise up violently. They're the Vikings, the Romans. This is their nature. It's not ours. We ain't afraid of them by no means. But they won't allow us to arm ourselves like they would. That's why they're afraid. My skin color to them is a weapon. Yep.
Absolutely.
Just the fact that I'm a black man, they feel like, hey, if they shoot me in the street, they were threatened because of that. But if I attack a white man for something like that, that's not their weapon. So it's not a time to sit there and say what black people are doing. We got to look at the people that did that. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, we would have. Nah.
I put it a little deeper though, and I had to talk to students, staff about this. And the biggest thing for me is particularly a black educator, a black leader in the city, teaching black kids, is like, understand what's really going on, right? This is happening because the playing field is finally being leveled to a certain extent. That wasn't about Trump not being president.
No.
Let's keep it a stack. We're going to talk about it.
No.
They can give two shits who's president.
No.
That's not about Trump being president. I'm going to repeat, over 1 million people who were not registered to vote were not only registered, but voted, which affected who was voted president. A black senator, which now can make decisions in the House and the Senate about laws being made, was elected. Georgia, which has been historically a red state, is now a blue state with not only a black senator, but now has black black mayors, and is soon to have a black governor. Let's talk about what's really happening here in distraction. This man was elected on Wednesday. The whole incident at the Capitol happened on Wednesday. How much did you hear about him on the news on Wednesday? How much have you heard about him on the news this week? You're not. It's Friday, and we're still hearing about it on every mass media station about what happened at the Capitol. What the fuck does it matter? They went there, they took pictures, they made a mockery of the people who supposedly have been in place to protect them, who's been protecting them for 100 years, but now again, the playing field is being leveled.
And to add, and again, I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist. I was just appalled that night. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody in here has seen if there's been a homicide, they taping everything up. I'm just trying to figure out, like, wow, they said a lady got killed at the Capitol, but they still got business going on as usual. So I'm like, this distraction has to be in place for something bigger, for something they don't want us to see. How do you have a lady getting murdered on federal ground and nothing is taped up, no crime scene whatsoever?
He got murdered on federal ground. But to answer your question, she got murdered on federal ground is because of the fact of the matter that the content to them, they consider it terrorist. The guy that offers the police officer, he wasn't a police officer, but I'm trying to find the right word. But the Capitol Police officer that shot her actually told them to get back. They barricaded the door
3 times.
He
said it 3 times.
He said it 3 times. They barricaded the door. They breached the door. He told her, if you enter in here, because what people don't know is he had senators trapped in there behind him. If you breach in here, I will fire. So one guy jumped up there. After he said that, a couple people going up there grabbing people back. She decided to go and enter and breach in it. And as soon as she wanted to enter in the breach, pop! He only hit her 1 time. She stumbled back. She said she's okay, and then she started leaking. And of course, they're gonna say, "Dang, to them on Capitol ground. Once they breach, everything is considered justified."
You're a domestic terrorist.
They're considered justified. They say they said the FBI on that. You know how quick that investigation gonna go in there? Oh, really? This is what happened? Okay. They're like went in the folder and it's done. That's the end of that investigation. So I don't know why anybody expect anything more or less from them. Because as soon as they start labeling them, it's the media and everything, it's domestic terrorists. What he did was protect his country. He's now a hero. He might get a wing in the Capitol. Everybody wants to know how they breached the Capitol. One thing, the reason why they won't tell you is the police were not prepared. And what I mean by Capitol Hill Police, the Capitol Police has a police force of 2,000 officers. 2,000 officers. They were out there. There were 3,000 protesters. So they had enough officers. But what the Capitol Hill Police was not prepared for is when they sit there and they were using riot agents and they were throwing at they had the front of the White House and all the doors barricaded. When they were standing at the barricades, they didn't have no riot gear, they had no protective gear on. So what they're doing is they started throwing tear gas, pepper spray grenade, and everything else. They retreated back, and that's when they breached it. So it wasn't more of a proper planning. They didn't expect it. And this is what I agree with everybody on is if it was African Americans, they wouldn't have took that chance. They'd have been right here, they'd have been tear gas, they'd have been prepared for whatever. But because they said it was white protesters, they didn't expect white protesters to come out there with all the agents that the police used to stop them from protesting.
Well, let's ask the real question. Go ahead, man.
All right, for me, I mean, man, trust me, I am just saying, but black people know better. I mean, if you see a line of police officers up there and everybody got guns, we know we're not gonna go over there and we're not gonna breach them. White folks feel so privileged that it's like, you know what? You're not gonna do anything to me. I'm supposed to be able to do this. That's how white folks feel. And just like you said, for years, hundreds of years, white people always felt that it's not theirs and they can take it. I mean, if you go back in the Christopher Columbus days, they came across the seas, they took the land, murdered people, enslaved people, all that other stuff. But white folks feel that, okay, it's mine, I'm privileged to it. If you're not going to give it to me, then I'm going to take it. And that's what all of them went inside that Capitol. For what? I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing they were supposed to go in there to take the daggone electoral votes and stuff like that, but somebody ended up taking a laptop. I mean, just stupid stuff. For what? All that stuff can be traced. But, I mean, poor white people don't know no better. Oh, man, I got a laptop. I can go to the pawn shop. I can do this. Some of the interviews I was seeing with people coming out of there, they thought they were supposed to be able to go in there. I mean, because they breached and they got, and then the one got shot. They was like, well, that's messed up because they shouldn't have did that. And this is our government. Well, no, y'all was wrong. See, white folks don't ever think they're wrong. They think they're right in everything they do. I've never heard a white person say they was wrong. Even with the guy that owned the Clippers, he never once apologized for all that racial stuff that he said when they made him sell the team. White folks think they're privileges. They think they stuff don't stink.
But we want to fit in with them, though. That's what I'm
Wait. Who is this we?
When you say fit in.
Who is this we?
I'm just saying we, because I feel like we don't understand that our greatness as black people. You know, like we get into politics, but it's like take Marcus Garvey for instance. You know, it's always a black person that's throwing you under or that will sell you out. You feel what I'm saying? If you got black people that have adopted the mentality of our oppressors. So that's who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about.
Is that the majority though? Because I don't believe that that's the majority. I believe that that's a small minority. It's a small minority that mass media makes us believe is the majority. For instance, that all black men ain't shit. They don't take care of their kids. We all know that that's not true. But because that's what's pumped out through mass media, through TV, through movies, whatever, the masses believe black men are all thugs, gun carrying, dope dealing niggas who don't do shit for their kids.
All black people want to be on welfare.
All black people want to be on welfare. Not true.
If I'm not mistaken, the study shows more white people on welfare than it is.
It's not true.
Blacks.
Double. It's complex. We have the range of everybody. We have lazy ass, shifty ass brothers. We have brothers that's willing to do out there, step up there and do their own thing.
Okay.
So, you know, I ain't gonna sit there and say all black people is. I ain't gonna say all white people.
So am I saying that?
No, you're not saying
I'm
that.
just making sure I'm not.
No, you're not saying that.
Hey,
I'm not saying nobody's trying to fit in. But trust and believe. When you say the weird, no,
you say weird, it feels like we're talking about.
I don't look at my
all black. Maybe we should say some.
Okay,
We use the word some.
I look at us as one. You know, even though you might be my fucked up cousin over there, you still my family. You know, so I feel like we're all held accountable for each other. We're still a family. You know, so that's why when I
chasing like they say all the time, you got some of them chasing. I love Monique. Cause she said that shit. She said you got too many people chasing the bag. We got so many people who sit there and sell you out for $1. Like you said, what white America knows is what one nigga won't do.
Next one will.
The next one will.
Absolutely.
So they sit there and tell me, look, I need you to go into that barber shop and sell all the brothers out, just feed them some bullshit. Nah, I can't do it. They gonna go to him and look, we're gonna give you $1,000. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna have to worry about that hustle, because you know what? We gonna lock his ass up before he get there. For something mine. And that's what they'll do. They do. We buy into a lot of things that we think that and sit there, and I hear more black people sit there and say, I don't understand why we got Black Lives Matter. How can you not? When you can sit there and look at it, it's two Americas. You got what's white in America and what's wrong in America. If it ain't white, that shit ain't right. And it's always been that way.
But that's changing. That's what slowly, but that's where the fear is coming from.
But don't think it's changed so far. And a lot of us think because a lot of us now, we did so much greater than we doing so much better than our grandparents, that a lot of us feel now that, you know what? You see this great shit? I sat on my doggone stoop when they killed Dr. King and watched the city burn. You see what I'm saying? I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
This shit, look, when I try to show my kids, they looking at black and white film, they think this shit like 100 years ago. You see what I'm saying? But it's real. And we sit there and we act like it's been so long ago, because now we can push Benzes, we can push all this. Man, we only had a concept of Jim Crow.
But to Pumpkin's point, the reason the generation is like that, their mindset is like that, because we want everyone to forget that it ever happened. You can't erase it. Don't take the fucking flags down. Don't take no statue down. Leave that shit up. We need to know our children, our children's children need to know what the fuck happened in this country. Don't even
the rebel flags.
All of it. Don't erase what people want. People feel like if you erase the history, it'll make me heal and feel better. No, it don't erase the fact that the shit happened. Let's address it.
But to that right there, I might have to disagree, because to leave it up to remember is, you know, what's the progress really in that? Because the stories are still gonna be the stories. The stories are still gonna be the stories without the flags and statues.
Check this, right? 100 years from now, we'll all be gone. We'll all be gone, right? Sure. You erase all the statues. You erase all the history that's out here for the children to ask a question, to even spark the thought in their head. If it's all gone, where does the knowledge of it come from?
How many Jewish kids go to Adolf Hitler High? Why should I have to go to a Robert E. Lee when Jewish kids don't go to Adolf Hitler High?
I'm not saying keeping the schools named after them. My thing is removing the statues. Don't remove the history. I'm not saying the buildings and the schools have to be named after them.
But the history is a lie. They've been lying to us. They tell us these people are heroes. That's why they build statues for them.
Well, we got to tell the truth about it, though.
But I'm saying, okay, but you can tell the truth, but why I got to
I can't even ask the question if it don't exist.
I'm saying,
if that white coat under that
football game is saying, you know what? Hey man, you know what? Yeah, who won the Super Bowl last year? See, that's how I think
Kansas City.
Kansas City. All right, but I'm a 49ers fan, so I just say, guess what though? I ain't a 49ers fan. Oh. You should be. But I'm saying, but I'm gonna sit there and tell you, I'm flying my flag, and I ain't gonna say the 40. I mean, I ain't gonna throw Kansas City up there. I can show that lie. I can believe that lie. You get to the point. Sometimes you can believe a lie so damn long, and if I promote that lie long enough, everybody start doing it. That's why they built those statues. That's what we got to teach our kids. These statues started going up after Woodrow Wilson was the president. That's why they want to take his name off that school up Northwest, because he promoted this lie. So it was like, take Grant name off of everything.
I will say, and I understand your point. And my stand has always been, if you're going to remove it, if you're going to take the statue down, put it in a museum. But don't bury the history as if it never happened. I'm all for the schools shouldn't be named after them. The court buildings should be named after them. We shouldn't be glorifying them. I agree with you 100%. We should not be glorifying it.
But he's right. He's right, because the reason why is if they don't
one thing we don't do is we don't teach our kids the history. A lot of it is, and so like you said, it's a conundrum. Yeah, it seems that they put out there and they're being glorified when their statues are staying out there, but if the kids don't see the statue or they don't know what it is, how do we teach? Because we got some of our people have become complacent and lazy and say, you know what, it's gone, so I don't have to talk about it. No, you do need to talk about it. You do need to educate. And that's one thing about it. We all know we're the only race that is educated by everyone else except for ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's okay to say. Black people don't share the history. I mean, kids don't have time no more to go sit down with their grandparents and talk to them and learn what their grandparents knew about their family. I mean, you know, because
most families don't even have family reunions no more.
They don't.
No, they don't.
Just keep it in the stack. Like, I remember when I was a kid, you know, you could look forward to every summer because you're going to the country to the family reunion. You're going to meet all the uncles, aunties, great grandma, all them cousins, all of them.
Well, I feel like we gotta be careful what we leave up. As far as education, you're right. It ain't their fault, as in the day. It ain't their fault that we don't teach our kids about history. Now, you can't say let's leave the statues up or anything that's what they call negative. And if they don't see it, they ain't gonna ask about it, because that'd be like saying they can leave nooses hanging around in the Alabama and Mississippi so the kids can remind them, well, is that daddy? Oh, well, that's why I used to hang people. You can tell them. It's a lot of education. We talk about sports. Kids don't even remember no Jim Brown. It's hard to go find. You got to go get highlights. Same thing you got to do. If you want to know about Robert Lee, to me, it's okay to educate them about their history. I agree. I'm not going to lie. But it's to be minute. The problem is our young people can't even relate. They can't relate to slaves because they don't know one. Their grandma don't even know one. You know, so the only thing they can relate to is they need to be taught what we learn. Okay, yeah, you need to teach them how to garden, but that's on us. It ain't on them. We ask for these equal rights. We march for these equal rights. So, okay, you want them to go to our school? Fine. Now they set the school system up. It's like a trick after a trick after trick, and they know that all they got to do is dangle some cheese in front of us, and we're going to run to it. We wanted to go in their same school, okay. We wasn't allowed to read books at one time, but their kids learn how to read and talk. We just taught them how to do it. Now we rely on the school to do everything. And the parent want to go to the school and cuss out the person at the school.
Cuss them out.
Don't look. How come my son ain't read? How come he don't know his ABCs? Why you don't know? What are you doing at home?
Nothing.
Daddy? What y'all doing at home? Nothing. You want them whitey? You supposed to be? I don't like them. I'm against them.
You deal with these mamas.
So I do deal with, but I stand corrected. I can't say again. I'll be remiss to say that it's all of them. There is a small percentage of our parents who expect the school system to raise their kids, not educate them, but to raise them. But again, there's another side of parents who are heavily involved in their children's education. Now, you can't fault that mama or daddy who got to work, who got to put the food on the table. It's either I come to parent-teacher conference or my fucking lights get cut off. Let's talk about which one you want me to do, Mr. G. You want me to come to parent-teacher conference? Or you want me to go to work so I can feed them, put food on the table, and keep the lights on? Like, those are the tough decisions that our urban parents have to make. You know what question that I'm saying?
Urban. They have them in rural areas too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like all parents got to kind of make.
We've got to kind of make those decisions. But we got our Ward 1 and 2 parents who I'm gonna keep it a stack. We've been in this shit since March 13th. And they ain't complaining about no compensatory services because they out here, they got the money to go hire a private tutor, to hire a teacher to come home, to come sit with their kids during the day while they got nannies and all that. My mother's over in Ward 7, Ward 8, they ain't got the money to go get no tutor. They ain't got the money to go get no nanny. Hey, look, tell you sit your ass in this house, you log onto that computer, don't touch my door, don't touch my stove, I'll be off work at 5 o'clock. When I call, you better answer the phone. They don't have a choice though. I got to go to work.
Can I play my game?
Guess what Tay gonna do when mom leaves though? That computer's gonna be open. Tay on his phone. Tay playing the Fortnite. He might be in school. He might. Dante, you there? Yeah, I'm here. He back to playing the game. Is that his fault? Is that mom's fault?
It's no one's fault. This
It's
is
the
the
system's
effect of America.
It's the system's fault.
And the fact, cause we've been programmed to get to go along with the grain. We're going to do the 9 to 5. Not saying there's nothing wrong with it. Please be clear. I'm just saying this is the effect. We are waking up. This is fucking 2021. We have computers. Any information we need is in the palm of our hands. They didn't have that shit 20 years ago. They didn't have it 30 years ago like they have it now. At our ages now. Then 20 years ago. So boom. So of course we're going to learn more. Of course we're going to evolve. Of course we're going to grow as humanity. That's what we do. So that's a given.
So let me pose this question. I've always wondered this, man. And I've been in conversations where, from everything from the man got his foot on my neck and I can't get forward, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I'm just curious as to I would really love to know what if the playing field was equal.
But
let me finish. What if the playing field was equal? Because we don't even really some of us don't even appreciate what we do have access to. I'm sure this gentleman can probably attest that back in, I don't know how old y'all, don't want to date you or disrespect your age or nothing, but maybe in the 60s or something like that, things in the 60s weren't like they are now. What you had access to in the 60s is nowhere what you have access
Even
to right now.
the mentality, though. The mentality.
So if the playing field was equal, we have fucked up mentalities. So
is the playing field equal like now, or is it equal then?
I'm talking about right now.
And that's what we're fighting for, right?
But
we're fighting for equality, correct?
But we don't fight for what we got now.
And indeed, so that's the problem. We keep trying to fight to fit in with other people. This is the effect. Okay, I'm gonna try to say it right. We want to fit in with our oppressors because this is the effect of our history, right? And it's okay. It's not our fault. We didn't know. That's like if I speak Chinese and I bring in an African American child and that child is a baby, he gonna speak the language that I speak, right? Because he knows nothing but what I teach him, right? So the effect is a African American child speaking a language that black people don't fucking speak, right? So that is what I'm saying when I say we're trying to fit in. It's okay. We woke now. But are we okay with ourselves? Because Michael Jackson said a long time ago, it starts with the man in the mirror. When I look at the man in the mirror, how is the man in the mirror? And not only is there one man in the mirror, the one man got 3 kids, how 3 kids? But see, that's why we're not having family reunions no more, because we're so worried about what the fuck they doing at the Capitol, and we can't stay focused on us. So let's stop trying to fit in the lane from a fucking country that fucking put us in the position and the mentality right now that we're in, that we having these debates, we having these conversations. It's not our fault. It's not, we not fucked up. We are the creators. We their mother. We know we've been slaves. We know we come from a fucking ship, but we still want to act like this is where we're from. It's not. And now COVID comes, we're sitting in America like, what the government gonna do? What the government gonna do? Fuck them. But if you naturally use in tune with who you are, your God-given, your leadership, being creative, all of that, if we in tune to that, who we really are, then we don't need them. So COVID would be nothing. This was an example of the God within us and what we can do. Look what we can create. Look how many motherfuckers learn how to sew just because they can make some money on man. We can survive.
So again, I gotta go. I mean, I hear you. I hear you, and I love your passion. But again, I gotta say, we gotta look past what's being presented to us. I'm gonna give you a stat, right? 56. I want you to hear this. We talk about COVID and how COVID has, and I'm not minimizing the people that COVID has affected, because COVID has affected some people. But since the beginning of COVID, back in March, I'm gonna say February because they knew about COVID before March. But since the beginning of COVID, there have been 56 billionaires created. 56. So don't tell me it ain't no go-getters out here. There's some businesses some black businesses who COVID has hit, who are thriving. Because at the end of the day, there's some go-getters out here. The one thing that's ingrained in us, and I say us, I mean the African-American gene, it's in your DNA, is we're fucking survivors. We know how to go get it. Mm-hmm. We know how to go get it. At the end of the day, to your point, Pumpkin, we got to stop being bamboozled by the foolery. We got to stop being bamboozled by the bullshit. Take the phones away from your kids. Turn the TVs off. Talk to your kids. Have conversations with your children.
Heal yourself.
Deal with your own hurt and pain. Right? Because this is about to segues into our real topic of the night. Because January, we talk about mental health. Like, the real question is, Pumpkin talk about the man in the mirror, but now if you asked a brilliant question on Monday night, who are you? A lot of us walking around out here, we living a fucking lie. You don't know who you are. You don't know what made you the reason you are. You mad at people. You bitter about shit. You around here angry, popping off, and you have no clue why you the way you are. You cussing your husband out for some shit that your daddy did to you 30 years ago and you still ain't addressed. You can't love nobody the right way because nobody ever told you they love you. And you walk around like the shit normal, but you don't know who the fuck you are. So if we're going to do the real work of growing, and we're going to talk about oppression and suppression, stop oppressing yourself. First and foremost. But now I'm going to pass it to you. This is your topic right here. Who are you and why?
Yeah, we came up with this. We wanted to know, like, who are you and why are you this way? Are you your mother? Are you your father? Are you the society that made you or influenced you? Or is it the way you raised? Is that why you are your way? Is that why you are who you are? Were you raised that way? Why are you so mad? Why are you loud all the time? Why are you so angry? Why are you athletic? Why are you so forgiving? Why are you? I think about me. So my story is, a little bit of my story is I found out I'm adopted. And I always want to know, like, where I got my traits from, the little things that people say about me. And, I'm not married yet. I want to know, like, okay, is my birth father married? I met my birth mother. She was married, but not married no more, so I wanted to know, was it something deep down inside? Or was it the way I grew up? The reason why I'm not married. My mother and father was together 28 years. But then I watched the friends of the family, they all split up, each one up. I watched each one. Is that my reason? Is it because I love my father and it hurts so much? Like, I'm afraid to get too close because I might lose him? Like, I don't know. I just want to know, how did I become this way? Where did I get certain things about me? I'm not into titles. I'd rather show you. See, I can look at that and say, like, okay, my father was a person that never walked around the house and told everybody he loved them, but he showed everybody he loved them. Because words can disappear in the air. Poof, they don't mean nothing. Well, your actions lay on you for a long time. Words artificially be on you. Because you hear them, they go in one ear, they evaporate, and you let them, you try to manifest, you make your character dictate how you take in information. So I look at my father, he raised me, took care of me, never said I love you, but I ain't never felt that he didn't. And I found out I was adopted. So I felt the love from my mother, from my father, from the family that I grew up around. I felt it. They ain't have to say it. But some people ain't raised that way. I had to learn that sometimes people need to hear it because that's how they were raised. They used to hearing it. I learned, I'm going to quote things that I've thought of over in this rest of this podcast, in and out. But one of the things I thought about was, like, people like flowers. I used to say women like flowers. And a guy, if you dating a female, if you have one, you can't figure out why you keep losing them. Because most times men take flowers and we think all you gotta do is water it, put it in the window. Because that's what we thought. That's what, as they told us a long time ago, you do what you know. But flowers come with directions. Some flowers don't need to be in the window. Some flowers not indoor flowers. Some flowers outdoor. Some flowers you do gotta talk to. And you'll know why your flower leaving. In other words, when we say dying, when she keep leaving, then you'll know why, because you never got to know her, so you didn't know what she needed. Sometimes we use ourselves and make them like us. See, I don't need all that attention, but some women do. Some men do. They need that attention because the way they was brought up. How they become that way. You know, how you get spoiled. How you become selfish. Why are you so forgiving? Why are you always happy?
I think, man, the comment on what you're saying, Knox, is that I look at my community and look at, you know, friends that I grew up around and, you know, different areas that I lived in and people's parents that I, you know, friends whose parents I've been around. And they say that, you know, your parents are your first teachers. I mean, I'm going to say that the foundation is going to come from, you know, what you see every single day, be it positive, be it negative, you know, be it even kill or whatever. Like, for instance, my grandmother, love her to death, was, you know, an alcoholic. But I'm talking about, man, will give you the shirt and the skin off of her back. Mother the same way, I'm the same way. And that's just, I mean, that's what I saw. I mean, I saw a lot of other things, you know, my uncles, all of them drunk, all of them was alcoholics and everything like that. I wasn't an alcoholic, you know, because I hated what I saw. So I saw that lesson and I was just like, God dang, I hate that. Even though I had my little spell of drinking and everything when I used to, you know, DJ and all of that stuff. And that's probably really the only time I drunk. I never had like a bar in my house, never bought, you know, never smoked weed, none of that stuff. I'm never going to a strip to buy weed and nothing like that. That just wasn't me because I just didn't like it. So I think we have lessons that we learn directly as well as indirectly that shape who we are at a young age. And that's why, you know, I'm just, you know, a proponent of, you know, if you can, you know, be parents to your kids. Let them see what they're supposed to get from their father. Let them see what they're supposed to get from their mother. To get that balance, to help with that balance. We're not saying you're gonna have perfect kids or nothing like that, but I think that, you know, if you can get that balance in, I think it definitely helps out.
Me, I think that we are creatures of habits.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you grow up with, more than likely that's how you'll turn out. Unless it's something that you don't like, then you'll go in another direction. As far as I can remember, my mother and father never was together. But my father would come around and guess my mom would say some things that he didn't like. My father would tend to try to beat up my mom. Mm-hmm. Me growing up, I didn't like that, so I'm one of the ones that say I never put my hands on my leg. But that's me, you know. But then you have some people that may grow up, you know, their father come on smacking their mom. They figure that this is the way life is and this is the way life's supposed to be. So when I grow up, I get my wife and my kids, I'm gonna do the same thing because that's what I was taught. So that's how I feel. You know, we are creatures of habit. Either you're gonna go with it or you're gonna change the way that you was raised and raise your kids some, you know, different.
To answer the question from my standpoint, I believe it's a twofold question. It's a combination of your foundation, wherever you got that from, right? And then as you go along in life, you also have life experiences, what we call traumatic life experiences. You got traumatic life experiences, which then affect how you view life. And I had this conversation on Monday in the meeting that, you know, our brain naturally, the way our bodies are made, our brains are naturally wired to protect us, whether it be from pain, whether it be from hurt, physically or mentally. Our brains are naturally wired to protect us. So if something hurt us, if we've experienced a traumatic life experience, your brain subconsciously is naturally going to change the way it processes and thinks in certain scenarios, because it's the way it's functioning is protecting you from that pain. And until you understand that whatever that situation is or trigger is, have gotten too comfortable making excuses or blaming someone else for the choice that they made. You know, a lot of people got upset with Kanye when he said slavery was a choice. People were mad, oh, you crazy, why you said it? But when it all boils down to it, and you really think about it, you had a choice. You had a choice where 100 African Americans in the field going to decide to get up and go to the field and pick cotton, or 100 African Americans had a choice to decide, well, you know what? Today is the day we're not going to the field. It may be 5 of them in the house. It's 200 of us out here, and we can make a choice. Now, we have to accept that there were some other factors that affected their mindset, but at the end of the day, we still all have a choice. And that's just my take.
You know, I've said it from prior podcasts, you know, that we had, like, we all have choices to make. You know, I know we're definitely influenced by a lot of things that have happened in our lives, and you know, you have to subconsciously make the choice to either do better or sit back and just complain. And like, I refuse to be a lump on the There are people who don't do it. They'll blame why they can't get a better job is, you know, I mean, shit. I know fellas who have great jobs, making 6 figures, got big houses, but we'll sit there and instead of going to find out, hey brother, how you do it? How did you do it? Like, tell me how you did it, because you might be able to help the next man do it. That's not infringing on what you making and how you doing things that you do. I just feel like it goes kind of like back to, you know, something that Pumpkin said and Day said to talk before all of us. Just like, we don't help each other. Like, we don't help each other. Before we help each other, we'll turn on each other, or we'll try to find a way to not let you like gain the same things I gain. Like, I try to surround myself with people who want to see each of us do better. Like, all of us do better. And if you're not that kind of person, if your energy is negative and it's draining, then, you know, you're going to have, you'll start to see the people who are constant in your life. You know, different people draw different energy out you. And when you're a negative energy person, you know, 9 times out of 10, I know you wouldn't really fit in this group. You can come around for a while, but sooner or later you're gonna feel uncomfortable. You're gonna feel uncomfortable. It's just an uncomfortable feeling. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. And I always tell, you know, kids and Knox know, I would say rich people don't hang with poor people. And they would always say, why? I say they have nothing in common. They have nothing in common. Because if it's either you're trying to get to where they is, because I mean, at the end of the day, this world is economically based. I mean, the more money you have, the more opportunities you can probably have. Now, that's not for everything and everybody, but I'm not going to tell Day how to boost his business up. Even though I know the blueprint because I done did it, I ain't going to really tell him because now I feel like he competition. When you still got outside competition every day of the week. So the more of us that become, you know, in tune with what's going on in society, I think we're better off. But that's not for, you know, everybody don't do that. So, you know, one of the choices that we all have to make is to surround ourselves with people and get information from people who've done things that we want to do, been places we haven't been. Like, and it's okay to take, you know, information and criticism from your own kind. I'm not going to shun Bam all because he don't agree with me today. I don't like what you said. Now we ain't friends. I'm not speaking to him for 2 weeks over Why? We're not doing that. So, you know, us as people, I think we have to learn how to help one another before we start trying to, you know, go outside the community. So, I mean,
well, I hear what you're saying, but back to the topic, well, the question is why are we where we are? We can't even help one another until we figure out who we are. Like you wouldn't be able to give me the advice that you give me if you weren't comfortable and knew who you were as Deontay Hope, right? Because you in shambles, your life a mess, your life in shambles. Like you don't understand the foundation of yourself.
Right.
So again, like what makes you the way? What makes you a compulsive liar?
Well, I just speak for myself. I know for myself, I'm a giver. I'm loyal. I'm a teacher. I'm a product of both my father and my mother. I'm deeply faithful, and I believe in faith. But I'm also a product of my village, and based off of the man that I am, the father that I am, the husband that I was, the friend that I am, it's based off of the relationships I saw built, based off of. You know, don't make me fly, bro. No, not one of my friends. But it's based off of my upbringing, based off of seeing my parents, from my parents, my grandparents. I remember, like we were talking just a couple minutes ago. I remember going to spend summers down in the country with both sides of my grandparents. So I can understand Jim Crow and things that during Black History Month, my father used to make us once a day have to learn something Black history. It was mandatory. And he used Black History Month, but he used to teach all the time of black empowerment, or why being Black or being proud of who you are. That's just like myself. Even though it's not my rightful name, it's the name that I know of. It's my last name. I'm very prideful about my last name. I'm very prideful about my name. And so that's the type of person, that's my upbringing. But just like my brother said, when he said, as far as me being a teacher, knowing who I am, I feel just like he feels. Any little bit of knowledge I gain, it's not meant for me to hold. It's meant for me to pass. And generation to generation. I look at wealth. The way I built my wealth, just in as far as myself, my assets I've obtained, my assets are not for me. My assets are for my kids. I teach my kids, their assets that they build are for my grandkids. I want my legacy to be as my father did, continually building generational wealth based off of my name and my bloodline. So every line we get stronger and stronger and stronger economically. And like you say, how does America see us? Well, I want to have that economic power. I want to have that power to where I can stand out there and I level the playing field, because that's the only way they're gonna really see me. It's economic. So I mean, knowing who I am and knowing the person, and I still know enough about myself. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still learning. I'm still developing. I'm still growing. So when you ask who you are and what shaped me, my foundation comes from my very first teachers was my parents, but then it comes from my grandparents. And it comes from the village that my grandparents and my parents and everyone else. I learned something each day from my brothers, From the one that's sitting up there to the one that comes full circle around. I learn every day from them. I don't tell them all the time. I argue them down to they team. Man, these three dudes, Day, Bam, Tay, I blue face. I'm the type of dude that I'll go completely against what you're saying just to create an argument. But as conversation, that's the way we talk. That's the way we grow. I grow. At the end of the day, I hold no ill will, no malice, because I grew from my brother. Punk, look at my sister. I grow from my sister.
Oh yeah. So let me ask this question. So with all that being said, us understanding who we are or where we got some of our stuff from, has there been a point in life and even in this growth process that you said, you know what? I know I learned that, but that was fucked up the way what I learned. I'm not trying to do that. And then you at that point you grew, and then you start remolding, or either I don't know if you can necessarily remold, but started reshaping who you are from that point.
That's called wisdom.
Yeah.
So I call wisdom. That's knowledge. I can tell you, you put that light bulb in, boom, it's gonna come on. You hit the switch. That's information. That's knowledge. But when you're an electrician, you have the wisdom to know how that goes. That's what happens. When you get told something, just knowing it don't mean nothing. You got a lot of people that Google something to tell you I know. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? But I experienced it. Bro, I remember the smell, the chill, everything. So I got the wisdom. You may just have the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You may know, you can sit there and tell me all about Southeast DC, but I've been there my whole life. So then you sit there and tell me something I got wisdom on, bro. I know how to use it. And like you say, when you got the choices and everything, choices are only one part of it. It's the consequences of those choices. That's what form our life. Because we both can choose the same thing. We both can say we're going to get on this bus, but one of us not going to pay, one of us going to pay. So one of us get locked up. Like you say, 100 slaves. Two different choices. You just sit there and say, hey, man, we're not going to work today. Consequences are you going to get that ass with. Mm-hmm. Are you going to accept those consequences? You see what I'm saying? We all got choices in life. But you can't expect to not deal with the consequences of those choices. Absolutely. And my pop, man, he was funny as shit. We used to do this all day long. This is what my pop did. He would just sit around. If he was around, he would sit around and talk to you. And he would always tell us one thing, what he said. If you're the smartest person in the room, if you're your smartest friend, guess what you need? More friends. More friends. Because if you got anybody, if you think you can't learn from people, I don't care who they are. I had my daughter, she's 20 now. When she was over 4 years old, I told her she could teach me things. She was like, Dad, how can I teach you things? I said, I've never been a 4-year-old little girl. So I would never look at life the way you're looking at it. Mm-hmm. So never just sit there and say because a person got more money than you, they got more status in life, or whatever. You can learn something from a wino, from a junkie. I never put drugs in my body a day in my life. So if somebody sit there and tell me, yeah, man, this is what happened if you do, I'm gonna sit there and listen to them when they talk about drug use. Why? Because I don't care if they 7 years old, they tell me about drug use. They teach me something I never experienced in my life. And I know the consequences of drug use. I think I know the consequences of drug use, but somebody else can sit there and tell me it because they experienced it. So that's the wisdom when you take knowledge and experience, you get wisdom.
And you're right on that, because my father taught the same thing, that same personality character. He used to say, I've been around the world once, talked to everybody twice. And then when he said it was after I did something, or he found out, yeah, I know what you did, I know about that. And I'd be like, what? How do you know? Like, the age gap was so big, but what he did was, he knew everybody that was willing to talk, he was willing to listen. Why that gallon of liquor was sitting on the trash can next to the house, and everybody else's trash can was out on the street, because he didn't already talk to them dudes. They gonna come in the driveway and get our trash. Everybody else, they said they got no. You don't put it out there, you ain't getting it done. They coming in. My father would come down the street, give everybody greens and stuff out the garden and fish from. He didn't caught 100 fish. He come in the house with 40. because he done stopped everybody else. But now I want to know how they know I ain't go to school. How my father know I ain't go to school, because the nigga up the street, he didn't listen to the white lady, or that old white lady that's older than him and way older than me. She done told my father, yeah, I saw Jimmy today. What time you saw him? Like 12 something. Like, damn. Then my father come, well, you go to school today? You already know. If he asked me, I already know he knows. Damn. I ain't go. But that's what I mean by listening and talking to everybody, not like judging, like we do now today. Like people today, you know, they gonna judge quick. They gonna look at you, size you up. Look at him, he don't know. I remember when people used to get mad at Marion Barry. How you gonna listen to him? He was a drug. That's the dude you wanna listen to. He done been in it. He can tell you all about it. That's the dude you wanna listen to. Stop judging him. Hear out, filter, and then move on. Take that information. You know, my father made me work on cars when I didn't want to. Made me go to the garden, plant tomatoes and pluck okra and shuck stringing. I didn't want to. But now you're looking at society today. Now I want a garden in the backyard. You know, I want to grow my own collard greens and cucumbers and stuff like that. But back then I was resilient. I was rebelling like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work on no car.
So you was a slave.
Man, I got a question. So you talk about wisdom, right? And you kind of touched on a question I want to ask. So we started this talking about the oppressed and the mindset of the white versus the black, yada, 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 right? Do you all believe that over time and through your travel in your life that who you are changes as you go through your phases of life?
I hope so.
You should.
I hope so. I hope I'm not the same as I was back then, because wisdom has grown, so I should grow. You know what I'm saying? Even, you know, that's why people say, even like my brother, like you say, my brother sitting in a jail cell, you can still grow. Like, physically you locked up, but your brain ain't never locked up.
If I'm my body, can't trap my mind.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't be locked in. I ain't never be locked up. You see what I'm saying? You can always pick up a book.
Always.
You can always grow yourself. And if you're the same, and we're not the same ever, you know, like we all got infant pictures. Ain't none of us looking like we was when we were babies. You know, you transform, you grow, and your body you experience things like.
How about this? How many people accept the people who change for the worse for whatever happened in their life? Because sometimes people change because they ain't as strong as maybe us. Sometimes they're a product of their neighborhood. Or mom, dad died same year, or my son got killed.
You can have two brothers and sisters, like Brian said. You can have a brother. I know people that have brothers and sisters that they grew up with alcoholic parents. You got two brothers that be like drunks, just like everybody else. And you have one that sit there and say, I ain't never touched a drink in my life. Then you can have three brothers and two of them be like, man, they go-getters. They out there, they getting it. Then you have one that's lazy and just want to bum off of them. So it ain't always about your environment.
Right.
Like I say, sometimes it's about the choices you make and the consequences you just decide, guess what? I don't want to take that chance. Like you say, you sit there, you watching him build a business. If there's sometimes you can't share your dreams all the time with the same people.
Everybody
some people are gonna try to put salt on it, like the man was saying. They put salt on it and they give you negative energy when you sit there like, man, look, I want to really build this business. This is my plan. This is what I'm doing. Oh man, I wouldn't do that, man. So-and-so tried that, man. His business got shut down. Oh man, if you do that, they gonna do this to you. Oh man, if you do that, they gonna do this to you. So they start putting that negative seed in your brain, and it only got to take a little tiny seed to start growing. And the first time you hit a little difficulty, yeah, they was right. I should try this.
Yeah, my grandfather, God bless his soul, loved that. But one of the things he told me, that said, something, grandson, everybody ain't meant to go with you to where you are meant to be. As you grow, some people gotta get left behind. And it doesn't mean that they gotta be no bad feeling, no bad blood, that you ain't where I'm going. But I also agree with my brother Juice, like, you are the company you keep. At the end of the day, if you surround yourself with go-getters, you're gonna go get it, because they ain't gonna let you not go get it. But if you surround yourself with simple-minded, small thinkers who don't want to go get it, that's what you're gonna be. Because every time you hit a roadblock, every time you struggle, or you hit a struggle, they're gonna encourage you, man. You don't need to do that, man.
Give up.
Man, we can go out here, we can sell a couple of 8 balls. But why? Right? So I feel like the people you surround yourself with also shape who you are.
Birds of a feather flock together.
They say iron sharpens iron. So I believe to answer the question accurately, I feel like it's a combination of things that make us who we are. I don't think there is one thing that you can put your finger on and say, okay, this one thing made me who I am, or this one person made me who I am. You know, my principal said it best today. You know, as educators, we plant seeds, and the hard part about the work that we do, we never see the fruit of our labor sometimes till 50, 60 years later, right? You know, we got Kamala Harris, who about to be sworn in. She was in somebody's 3rd, 4th grade class. How many ever years ago? Right? Barack Obama was somebody's 7th grade English class. Did that teacher know at that moment that he was going to end up being the 44th president? No, might have said he was a bright kid, but we didn't know that. But that 7th grade teacher, I'm pretty sure in some way or another, whether it was good or bad, shaped in some way how this person was going to turn out to be. You know, I tell teachers all the time when we're in sessions, they're like, there's power in the tongue. There's power. You can feed life into a kid, or you can kill him just by what you say to him. And I think that goes to everything we do. You know, there's a lot of coaches in the room. A lot of us coach, right? We impact kids in ways that we never know we're going to impact them. And it ain't all about them making it to the league. It ain't even all about them going to college. Like, what you feed is what you sow into a kid could potentially make or break them in their life. Like, you know, I coached this kid, didn't know him from a man on the moon, right? Season was over. He went to school. We still text, But you couldn't have told me the day that he cussed me out, that he was mad because he was running, that he would be like my child now. Like, he didn't know that, I didn't know that. But somewhere along the road, I had a conversation that somewhere it stuck to him. I didn't know it stuck to him, right? You know, same with this guy, you know. Would never know that me and him, people see us now, think we blood brothers. Literally think we blood brothers off a conversation, though. Something stuck with me, we vibe, it goes. So I just really feel like it's a combination of life experiences, people the choices you make, the people you have around you that all mold who you are.
Let me ask you this, Tony.
Yes.
Just ask the group there. You know, everybody can participate if you want. I just want to pose a question. Because I always want to grow. I always want to be better. And if we all just had a mirror right in front of us, and we said, if there's an area in our lives that we can grow in, what would that area be?
I don't know if everybody comfortable.
And that's why I said, whoever want to jump in can jump in. I'll jump in. I think for me is I want to be able to communicate way more effectively and trust people. Like, I trust myself, but if I'm on a job, or if there's, I know what I'm going to do. I know how I'm gonna handle it. I ain't really going to really trust you to do it. And my communication might be a little skewed in how I communicate you doing a job or something like that. And I'll just end up like, I got it. I just watch it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have faith in Rico to help with the setup and everything. But if I see Rico moving too slow, I got it. Just watch out. I got it. But I need to get better at that. I need to get better at that. I mean, I've been like that for a long time. And that's what we talk about, that, you know, as you know, growing, who are you and everything like that. Yeah, I'm probably alone. I don't want help, because I know how I'm gonna work, and I know you're not gonna work like I'm gonna work. I'm gonna give you 1,000%. 1,000. You might give me 500. That's not enough for me. So, you know, for me, my communication is just probably trust for me.
I mean, if I had to say something, communication is definitely one, and probably procrastination. You know, like, I'll have great ideas or there are things that I would want to do, but I'll subconsciously find every reason not to do it rather than find, maybe 2 reasons to do it. So, I know myself and like in talking to Tony and Rodney and them, like they've been guys, and especially like Bam, guys that are older than me, some guys younger than me, are able to help push me. That you got all these great ideas, you sitting on a gold mine. Like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I'm like, I'm not sure, but now when you start to surround yourself, because you've been so comfortable surrounding yourself with people who applaud your procrastination, that it's like I said, it's tough. You start to weed those people out of your lives because you start to go, dang, how is it that they see the good? They see the good in me, and they've only been around me for.
Go ahead, Mike. That's Caleb, Mike.
I'm not even sure. Not even half the time that some of the people that I grew up with, and they could see the great in me. I mean, for instance, Coach Knox, he got me basically into coaching. I couldn't see myself coaching a kid a day in my life. I have a friend of mine now, he coaches at Boston College, Azar Rahim. He came back home and he said that when he heard that, Deontay, he one of the better coaches in this area. He said it can't be the same, not the same Deontay I grew up with. He was like, he would have never coached. And he approached me, he saw me coaching. He was like, man, who would have ever thought? I mean, I can remember his dad getting on us and, just thinking that some of us were going to end up, either dead or in jail. And, like I said, I mean, procrastination is I have to be around people who, because I'm self-motivated, but then I start to doubt myself. Self-motivated, but then I start to doubt myself. And when I doubt myself, I push it off. I can remember having an idea, and I always take it back to one idea. Right now on PlayStation, live streaming is like a huge thing. Through YouTube, the YouTube channel, they stream, and Twitch. I remember playing PlayStation 2 with my son. I think he was, at this time, PlayStation 2, you might have been 8 years old, 9. But everybody knew how much I love football. So I would take, and you could draw plays up, and I should tell you, I would just draw my own plays up, come to the barbershop, and I run all the plays that was in my playbook. And I said, man, I wish we could have it where I could watch Bam play from his house. Just because to me, that's like scouting. That was like scouting. If I could just, how can we go online and I could watch Bam and Rodney play from my house, but I'm able to go back and watch that game over and over again. Who would have ever known 10 years later we would have live streaming, and online content. And, just to see some of those things, I mean, manifest itself when you surround yourself with people, people who want to move, they're going to be like, oh, no, we need to, let's figure this out. Let's figure this, man, we need to, let's investigate this. Well, I may be like, come on, that's not right. But the right person around you, they're going to be like, nah, we going to look into this. At least let's look into it. If we can't do nothing with it, then we can always fall back to say we tried. But I didn't even try. 10 years later, it's one of the biggest things out here in America. And it didn't exist. And I said when PlayStation 2 came out. So I'm talking about from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, they had online gaming. Those who know, you had to plug the cord in the back, had to have your AOL dial-up going.
Don't pick up the phone.
Better not answer my phone. But it just goes to show you, like, surrounding yourself with, the right kind of people can entice, some of your strengths and things. So, if they didn't say anything, like I said, my communication, I don't really like to talk. And if it get too serious, I feel like we're in a confrontation. I'm cutting it off. I'm not a person that like to be in confrontation with people because the size I am, I was always taught if you keep on. Now I feel like now we want to be at each other. So that's a weakness of mine. Not really wanting to communicate. So I do. I force myself to talk and communicate. Sometimes then there are other times where I still had old me and I won't do it. I'm not, nope. And I know that that's a huge hiccup of mine. So I try to work on it, but I'm a work in progress. It ain't gonna happen overnight. But at the end of the day, I can't keep on taking all day. So that's why I try to push myself to do it and surround people who make me talk. Cause if everybody's gonna see two different sides. You won't get the same me. Knox knows a side of me. He gonna be like, what? That ain't how he is. He this, and this. The next person I get around, they be like, man, he's so quiet. And anybody who truly know me, like, what? He quiet. Man, get out of here. But, that's the way things is. So, like I said, I go back to the whole thing of surrounding yourself with people who pull the best out of you. And along the way, listen to me. Like it or not, guys, you gonna lose some people you consider friends. See, I feel like if we friends, I never lose you. I don't lose you. I could have not seen you I could have not came in contact with you for a whole 2 years. When I see you, we gonna pick right back up where we left off. That's if we true friends. Not envious. I don't care about what you got. You don't care about what I got. I don't care. I love that you doing good. True friends. Gotta surround yourself with people who either doing what you do or doing better than you. Striving to do better than you. Now, along the way, of course you could pull some people up who not doing as good as you, but they gotta be striving to do better. And if they striving to do better, we good.
And tell interested to hear, if you had to put the mirror in front of you, how you worded it? What would you want to change?
What would you want to change?
What would you want to change?
What area would you want to work on?
That's great. Simple communication, procrastination. I went about a lot of things in like the wrong way. So that's that sound right there. I love that sound. I'm in the building. But it goes back to what Mark was saying, like foster wisdom. You go through experience, and sometimes you got experience to gain the wisdom. So me and my sake, I'm hands-on, so I gotta take my bumps and bruises, and a wise man should learn from his lesson. So now I'm taking my bumps and bruises and learning from the lessons, and I see how it turned out.
I think for me, it's betting on myself. I've been for 42 years. I've been a giver. Now it's my time. People know my passion. People know what I've done and given to others, but it's time to bet on myself. I agree with a lot as far as communicating, but just being willing and being disciplined enough to bet on myself and not get discouraged. Not get discouraged to fail. I'm going. Life is not like an easy button, and there have been times where I'll go ahead and pursue something I felt passionate about, and as soon as I hit a hump, I'll fall back and I'll let it go. But at this point in time in my life, like I said earlier, if I'm going to build that generational wealth, if I'm going to leave that legacy for my grandkids and my great grandkids and stuff, I got to be willing to bet on myself now and take that chance. And so that's if I look in the mirror right now, it's just, hey, regardless of the doubt, regardless of naysay, yes, I keep a lot of sharp dudes around me and a lot of sharp people around me. So iron sharpens iron. willing to bet on myself. And also, I'm a prideful person. So being willing to ask others for help, that is something that it's, I don't want to say it's not built in my DNA, but I get that from my dad. My dad was Mr. Independent on everything. He had a motto that he taught me. If you're not willing to do anything about it, don't get mad about it. I was not allowed to be mad about something if I wasn't willing to do something about it. And so that always put me at, if I gotta get something done, I'm gonna do my damn self. But that's not always the case. I gotta be willing to ask for help or ask for assistance or ask for guidance. And so I think that's where I need to grow. Being comfortable to ask for guidance and being comfortable to ask for help whenever it's needed.
Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
It go back to my procrastination. I believe a lot of my procrastination may come from I could be working on a project or working on a project. Somebody else, I believe you might have said, somebody else's project may come up, and I might put mine on the shelf and be like, "Look, I'm gonna help you with this, I'm gonna help you with that," and promote theirs. Mine's on the shelf. So the time I return back to mine, somebody else's project may come up. So I fall into always helping others first before I even help myself. So I don't know if that's right or wrong. That's just who I am.
I think going back to what Daddy said, what I had to learn, the loner thing is me. I know people say, I guess people got these words of being lonely, and then I call it being alone. Like, so that puts me in a bind sometimes because, like Rodney said, I don't really reach out. Like, I don't reach out because I'm so used to doing everything by myself. And I trust myself more than anybody. So I feel like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get it done. So what I have learned over the last couple of years is trying to like I told y'all guys earlier about when the young lady was interviewing me, and she said, "What's your weakness?" And I said, "One of my weaknesses is hiring people, like because it's tough for me to go outside the circle, like to go into the world and like, damn." And it could be so minute, like, okay, you need to hire somebody in here. I don't have to know him. Like I could just, get to know him. Like I have to be an owner and he don't have to be my buddy. I don't have to like know him for 5 and 10 years and stuff like that. So those procrastination is another one. I'm big on procrastination. I'm like the champ of procrastination and tardiness. It's something that I want to work on, but it's something I've been working on. It's an ongoing class I'm in, working on procrastination. Like Juice story, I thought of this idea of this shop talk way back in the 90s when we used to be in Carlos shop. And then when I opened my shop in 99, I wanted to do it again. I was doing these PG County Boys Club basketball all-star game. And when Comcast came to the area, they had this channel called CTV. And CTV would come down and record the games and put all the kids on TV. So I tried to get them to come do the show, and they wanted me to come take the production class. And right there, the procrastination increased, and I never did it. And I think one of my reasons that I'm learning, one of the things I'm figuring out what causes my procrastination. And one of my major factors, I try to do too many things at one time. I was coaching, me and Juice was coaching football, me, Juice, Rodney, then me, Tay, and all of us was coaching basketball. I'm doing this back to back, and then I'm trying to open a business, and then I'm a single dad, and I had kids living with me, and one child didn't live with me, so I felt a little certain way. I couldn't do two things, and like here I got one child who don't live with me, and now I'm still living that situation because now I have a daughter that's 11 years old that don't live with me, that's growing up with her mom. So I feel I don't put in the time that I got to put in with the other kids who probably might feel like I ain't putting enough time with them, even though they was living with me. So it's a fine line. It turns into trying to do too many things at one time, but wanting to do them all, and everybody probably getting slapped. And that's where my procrastination comes in. You give me too much time, then I abuse it, take late to the last minute because I work better under pressure. But like Juice said also, and Tony, when you gather around better people, a good group of people, like Tony did with this. He heard my idea, and he not the first one, but he the one that like, everybody got different roles in your life. Everybody not duplicates. But he was the one that like, let's do that. Let's push it. Let's go ahead and do blah, 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 blah. And that's how we got to where we at. And then of course, talking helped us, see that Rico was already doing this. And, everybody that's in this room always gonna be down for all of our ideas. They're gonna see it out. Like you said earlier, they ain't seeing it to fail. And they may know other ones that fail. They're gonna tell you, okay, this is why it's gonna work for us. Seeing Dede and knowing that he already was in this field. I've been knowing Dede longer than probably most of the people in this room. Because I've been him in the early 90s, stuff like that. When he had that killer shit, stuff like that. But
that's another area you got to know.
But anyway, I hurry up and let him know, and he didn't even hesitate. He had no doubt. He came right in, and it's working out. It's working out real good. So, and I see big things for this show.
I guess for me, and people who get to know me might be surprised by what I'm about to say, but for me is seeing in myself what other people seeing me. Like, a lot of y'all know me as like, oh, he the go-getter, he the business-minded one. He always gonna find a way to tell you how you can do something. But like even today, meeting with my principal, me being AP, like he was just like, yo, you gotta believe in how good you are. Like people tell me all the time, man, you're a great coach, or you're good at this, or you business-minded. Like I know my talent, but then like I'll find a way to tell myself like, you ain't really that good. Or as my wife would say, sometimes you're too humble. Like, and she tells me, sometimes she's like, man, you're too humble. And like, sometimes I'm learning to look in the mirror and say, you could be unapologetic about being fucking good. It's okay to be good. To your point, like, be great and be confident about being great. Like, but I think that part I got from my father, who was like, always be humble, never try to outshine the next man or put your talent on stage. But like sometimes you gotta be like, especially in the business world, you gotta be like, nah, I'm good at what I do. This is my worth. You either won't pay me or go the fuck on about your business. So that's my growth area. That's where I'm trying to grow or pushing myself to grow for me. Pop. Come baby. Put that mirror up, baby.
No.
Bam.
Check everything everybody said, pretty much. Definitely, definitely. The why, the me doing for me, the me putting as much energy into myself as I put into everything else around me, and to help me be great for that. I feel you when you say you're always helping people, or putting yourself on the back burner and say. And the lady told me like the little airplane thing, you gotta put the seatbelt on you first, before your children. And when I heard that, I automatically thought, oh, I'm gonna save my children first, So I always have great ideas. I feel like that's a part of who I am. I am a creator, so. Everybody know, people send me shit like, remember when you said that? And it always made me feel like some shit, but I try to not be discouraged and still be, encouraged. I'm tired now. Like, I'm so fucking tired. You know how you say, like, this is a value you've been going through for so long. I'm at the point now where I'm tired. I think the person that introduced me to motivational videos, because they help, and I even just found myself recently going back to listening to Les Brown, because he encouraged me. Eric Thomas sound like Jesus to me, so I sometimes have to go, do whatever it takes to pick myself back up, so consistency, checking boxes, execution, execution.
For me, I guess my biggest one is, everybody, Mark only one that knew me before I got married. And before I got married, I would try anything. I just go out and go, I try anything because if I failed, then it was only just me. So my biggest thing is me being scared to want to go out there and try things because I'm scared if I fail, then I'm failing my household. And everything is coming back on my wife. I mean, I just don't want to, I don't want to be that failure at the household. Then I got all this pressure coming on the house, you know, because of something that I did. So that's my biggest thing is just, you know, because I got ideas that I want to do, but I'm scared to go out there and try because I think I'm a fail. And that's my biggest thing. I mean, you know, it's just a fear of failing as a husband, not failing as marriage as a husband, but, you know, just letting my wife down that I didn't succeed in what I tried. But when I was a single man, yeah, come on, let's go. Oh, dang, I lost $10,000. Like, no problem. But now you say you lost $10,000 and you're in a marriage, it's like, what? You know, so that's my whole thing. It's just, you know, it's just that fear, just trying, you know, of not succeeding if I step out there and try to get stuff done.
Mike, you the only one left.
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna look in the mirror. I know it's a lot of things I'm trying to improve. But I'm thankful for where I am. And I know that I'm still growing every day. So, you know, as long as I can learn something new every day. And sometimes I look back, sometimes I say, I wish I'd have known that back then. Okay, it's too late. I can't go back. As long as I can keep striving for perfection now. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be the best I can be now. And I learned something about true value. That it's not always how much you can accumulate. Sometimes it's how much you can do without. So I appreciate that balance of knowing that I don't have to have everything to keep up with
the Jones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, I just want to be appreciated for who I am. You know what I'm saying? And as a person and as a friend, you know what I'm saying? Can't win you over to be your man or so long as I can be your brother. And that's that you know, and I just would want to be able to participate if I could, if it like, you know, if it was like an art play, we all pitching in for that, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I would be willing to do that if I didn't have the bag, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I just appreciate it. Then I saw something that taught me something. A guy that was like 14 that got sentenced for the rest of his life in prison was doing, they said they was doing lawn service, but they ended up intruding in a house. And when they showed his prison room, I saw a sign on his wall, and it said, "Everybody's not your friend, and everybody's not your enemy, but you can learn something from everybody." So I just appreciated when I saw that. I said, wow, that could have been me. You know what I'm saying? And I said, wow, that's amazing. I'm out here. And you know what I'm saying? I could have. But I thank God I wasn't in that predicament or in that situation. So I said, you know, every day is a new day. I thank God for giving me another day.
Hey, Mom, I will not leave you out. You came in, you dropped a lot of wisdom on the room tonight.
Great knowledge.
Great knowledge. We appreciate the wisdom, the growth, but you know, I would like to hear your perspective of, you know, with all the knowledge, all that you've seen in life, all that you've been through, if that mirror is in front of you, what would you tell yourself?
I like to make myself more accessible. You know, a lot of people, I mean, you know, it's just funny because sometimes you don't realize, you know, right here tell me, other people tell me, they'll tell me a little slip way, hey man, can you show me how you did this? Or, you know, hey man, I appreciate the information you gave me. And I may not even be talking to them because I laugh at myself every day. That's something, I learn something every day and I laugh every day, but I laugh at myself every day. So I learned not to take myself so seriously. Because a lot of people see me as standoffish. You know, they'll be afraid to just come up to me and talk to me. Man, though, for a long time, people come to them and be like, hey man, how Mark doing today? Ask him, he right there. Like, why the fuck you didn't ask me? Because they be like I'm this person you couldn't approach or something like that. And I wish I was more accessible so people could be like, because I encourage people, man, and that's one of the big things. I love encouraging people, and yeah, I've been through a lot. I sat down for a lot. They set me down for a while. I learned a lot. I try to learn everything. They started business, lost businesses, started businesses again, and did a lot of things. And I loved it when I just see brothers that be willing to try to help. But I know a lot of times people be just like, man, I can't approach you. You know, and I'd be like, I don't know where they get that from. And maybe because I talk loud, I try to walk confident, you know, stuff like that. So they be like, yeah, you know, you can't talk to him, man. You know, he ain't going to say that with me. But I wish I was more approachable so I can pull more into people's lives, because I ain't never say I'm done. I'm a young 57-year-old. You see what I'm saying? Damn! Hey, I ain't doing this shit, because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody know it's how old my father was when he made me. So I go with it like that, bro. You see what I'm saying? But he had a younger brother. So what I'm telling you is, I ain't gonna never feel like I'm done, but I'm gonna learn something every day. I'm gonna laugh at myself every day. I'm never gonna take myself too serious. Never take myself too serious. And I just hope, man, when people see something, because everybody everybody pull something to my life tonight, and I'm gonna take it. And I wish I could do that more to other people. That's it. I really wish I could share more to other people's lives. That's it.
Well, we want to say thank you all for tuning in tonight. You know, we started off with a very sensitive but necessary topic. A lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom was dropped in the room. To wrap it all together, you know, there's a lot going on, not just in this country, but in this world. At the end of the day, I definitely wanted to hit home that before we can take care of anything, before we can take care of America, before we can take care of our kids, anybody else, we got to put the mirror in front of ourselves and take care of ourselves. Figure out who we are, what drives us, what motivates us, what triggers us. All that really matters. But again, thank you all for tuning in. We are still taking donations for the homeless drive. We are definitely in need of blankets. I received a lot of toiletries. Keep sending that stuff in. We can drop it off here at 9812 Scataway Road, Clinton, Maryland. We're going to collect those donations up until next Saturday on MLK Day, January 18th. We will go out and hand those out to the homeless, blankets, toiletries, care packages. So help the homeless stay warm this winter season. Again, thank you. We'll see you again next week.
All right. Ain't this what you came for? Don't you wish you came more? Girl, what you playing for? Come on, let me kiss that. Ooh, I know you missed that. What's wrong? Let me fix that. Twist that. Baby, tonight's the night I let you know. Baby, tonight's the night we lose control. Baby, tonight you need that. Tonight, believe that. Tonight I'll be the best you ever had. I don't wanna brag, but I'll be the best you ever had. I don't wanna brag, I'll be the best you ever had. I hit you with the best stroke, freestyle in the breaststroke, till you're blowing cigarette smoke. Another bed's broke. So what we gonna do now? Round two now. Work it out, then we cool down. Baby, tonight's the night I let you know. Baby, tonight's the night we lose control. Baby, tonight you need that. Tonight, believe that. Tonight I'll be the best you ever had. been this light skin love. Listen, you ain't even gotta text me. Knowing me and you got that mental telepathy, meet me up at the spot, I'll be sending over the chauffeur. Rich nigga, breads, they popping up like a toaster. Nobody come close to me and you together. Step under my umbrella, we'll make it through any weather except when I make it storm. Sex in the greatest form, then hibernate under my body. And yeah, I keep it warm and in a chinchilla. She know I beat it up like the Thriller in Manila. Flying my private jet to villas in Anguilla. Then throw you on the grill, that's for 7 days a week. You're my 5-course meal for free. Tonight, you know, baby, tonight, don't be tonight, baby. Baby, tonight, you need that. Tonight, believe that. Tonight, I'll be the best you ever had. I don't wanna brag, but I'll be the best you ever had. I don't wanna brag, but I'll be Sad to say it, but I love you. Don't take no offense, but you my yeah. You gon' fuck through every time I call you. That's why I ball how I ball when I spoil you. We was in Miami, first time I saw you. I was in a phantom when I put up on you. It was late nights in the band. You good, got you bustin' like you Rambo. And you keep it hood so you really understand. You was there through my ups and downs like a camel. Tough fat, said she get it from her mama. She just want the money, shit with no bloggers. You want a PJ the whole way to the Bahamas. Gucci Valentino, baby, I could be your stylist. Your friend, yeah, you was wildin'. 1942 shots, turn you to a monster. Thuggin' like you Tupac, you know that I got you. Love the way you ride and move on his like you Rihanna. I was supposed to hit, I was never supposed to cuff you. Put you on my homie, cause he said he wanna. When he asked me about you, I just told him that I want you. But now it's quiet for you, cause I told him that I love you. You gon' fall through every time I call you. That's why I ball how I ball when I spoil you. We was in Miami, first time I saw you. I was in a phantom when I put up on you. It was late nights in the band. You good, got you bustin' like you Rambo. And you keep it hood so you really understand. You was there through my ups and downs like a camel. I was locked up, I remember when I hit you. Used to write me back every letter that I sent you. You wasn't my girl, but you used to pretend to. When I came home, let me beat it instrumental. Lame left you scarred, so I had to reinvent you. If you was a car, ride it like a Benz do. Working with the stars every time I come and get you. We be going hard every time you want that hit to. I was in the mix, acting like a savage. Got another, you told me I can have it. I know you was sick, so I double back to grab you. So anything you wish, yeah, you can have it. You gon' fall through every time I call you. That's why I ball how I ball when I spoil you. We was in Miami, first time I saw you. I was in a phantom when I put up on you. It was late nights in the band. You good, got you bustin' like you Rambo. And you keep it hood so you really understand. You was there through my ups and downs like a camel. Whoa. She just wanna ride with a shadow. None of rich and now down. Knock 'em all down like dominoes. Made me tell 'em of it by my nose. Whoa. Good girl, bad girl, smart city, mad world. She just wanna shine. Whoa. And last night was mad real, sunshades, Advil. You all I seen your girl post a bill, so I hit her in the deal. All eyes, yeah, I see him. Yeah, this your man, I hate to be him. It goes down in the deal. It go down, it go down, it go down, it go down, it go down in the deal. It go down, it go down, it goes down in the deal. It go down in the deal. It go down, it go. down. Snapchat me that move. On FaceTime me that if it's cool. Boy, my DM poppin'. My DM just caught my body. Move. I got some celebs in the DM. They're breaking news if they see them. But nah, we don't do no talk. We see suckers too often. I seen your girl post a DM, so I hit her in the DM. All eyes, yeah, I see him. Yeah, this your man, I hate to be him. It goes down in the DM. It go down in the DM. It go down. It goes down in the DM. It go down in the DM. It go down. Don't you hate when you get screenshot? Edit. That DM one for everybody. Rules. I love the gram. I'm addicted to it. I know. Next to woo, tomato, mustard, mayonnaise. Better catch it. They go to my head too hard for me to learn my lesson. The way I did it work out fine. Ooh, God, you bless it. Lord, went through it and back. I finally on the team. I don't even give no more. But the thing is easy. Let you know they're easy. Like a hater, nigga, run from the like a cheater. Put on that big watch on, never see music for a clock. I see the way on the charts. I wonder is he ever gonna stop? And he charge out the 50 for the verses now. Pay the way never ever drop. They notice that the versatile. Wonder if he ever gonna pop. Go! I just got the key, they let me in. No ID, doors opening up for me, and now I see. I've been blind for a while now. Let's go! I just got the key, they let me in. No ID, doors opening up for me, and now I see. I've been blind for a while now. Yeah, I've been quarantined, living with my kids, trying to teach me how to cha-cha. Around the door, and now they know that they can't stop me. Don't place me in no cop car. Yeah, I'm on probation, so it's gas, I love that. I wrote a song for you, so you should pay attention. I was just staring at the ceiling and got in my feelings, reminiscing about a spike. Chilling. Right now I'm riding through Memphis, passing through the city. I'm with my but I miss you, girl, don't get it twisted. And I cannot wait till I see you, hug you and kiss you. Remember when I had first met you, how I used to sweat you. I used to call your phone and text you and tell you you're special. Like, girl, you're special, you're the kind of girl that I need. I actually made your mind, sometimes I can't believe. Wonder what your was thinking when he let you leave. You try to leave, I might get down on my hands and knees. I'm still a G, please believe, but girl, you make me weak. You make me feel something I never felt. The reason I never left. A lot of hoes want your position, but they tripping. You been with me since the beginning, and that's the way I'm in. But just in case you feel you cannot stay, baby.